All right, Black Tree TV, we are here in front of the National Civil Rights Museum in Memphis, Tennessee, in front of the Lorraine Hotel where Martin Luther King was slain, and we're here to talk about The Banker, another civil rights struggle for equality in economics and banking and loans. It's a good movie. It'll be on Apple TV Plus soon. You can hear all the interviews here on Black Tree TV coming right at you. So first, how you doing, Sam? Good to see you. You were revolutionary in your own right in your time, but with Super Tuesday coming and the general elections coming, what should African Americans in particular look to do legislatively to fix some of these banking laws that still kind of prevent fair lending?
I don't know if we can do anything legislatively right now, but we have to find people that have our best interests at heart and vote those people in. And hopefully we can come up with some fair and equal practices that will, bridge the wage gap or bridge the financial gap between us and the haves and the haves and the have-nots. We need to definitely find a unified voice, and even if you don't like the candidate that's being put there, you got to vote for him because we got to get rid of the one that we don't like. I agree.
I'm not gonna hold you up. Thanks for taking time, though. This is an amazing story, but when you get to the end of it, you see how much that those two businessmen accomplished. Is it? I know it's not a shock for us because we live it, but you think it'll be a shock to the audience that we still haven't moved that much further in banking progress and stuff at this
think, one of the things that concerns me is that we're in this cyclical pattern where we just kind of everything keeps happening again, a different version of it, but still repeating itself, history repeating itself.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that we're missing is that we are not as institutionalized as other people in terms of how we teach our children. What system do we have in place? My earring fell out? I thought my earring just fell. What system do we have in place to actually create a platform for our children to feel secure? Because so oftentimes, success for me was never done because, I want to be an actress, I want to be famous. It was out of desperation. I had to find something that I could be good at to succeed. And then I fell in love with it. But it wasn't like, I'm going to go to like the perfect, performing arts school that's not my experience. And I'm not knocking anyone who's had that experience.
Right.
But mine was out of sheer desperation. I had to succeed. Failure was not an option. And so I know that my children won't have that because their life is a little bit more comfortable. But how do I still instill that in them where they have that drive to be successful, where they are finding that thing that makes them unique?
Yeah.
And so we as a people, I think, have to get to a place where we're able to educate our children, give them more than what we had, but still nurture that idea that you have to earn this. You have to work really hard. And when you earn it, it's not just for you. It's for the culture. And it's for the next generation. And we want to build as opposed to being caught up in materialism. And I think it's hard. Look at Keeping Up with the Joneses. We're still doing that. And I don't know what that comes from. I don't know if it comes from maybe we don't value ourselves as much to think that we can be top dog number one. Maybe it's because we just don't. Maybe it's a confidence thing. I don't have the answer, but I know we need to keep having the conversations, and we need to have really honest conversations.
Well, thank you. Keep making movies. I know next year we
Thank
celebrate
you.
30 years of Boys in the Hood.
Oh my gosh,
And
is
the
it
legacy
really?
next year will be 30 years. So keep on making movies and we'll keep
oh my
on
gosh,
watching.
Between that and Fresh Prince, I'm turning 50 next year. Shit.
Thank you. Good journalist.
It's gonna be
The relationship between Eunice and Bernard, when you see a couple where two people are willing to humble themselves, where the both of them are able to succeed, it's really beautiful. And that was the story of my mom and my dad. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, my dad was a worker bee. But every time my dad came home, the decisions were made by both of them. And my mom always used to say, your dad is the head of the household, but I'm the neck that turned that head. And when I went to Nia and asked her to do this, I begged her, because she brings a certain level of sophistication and decadence to femininity that you don't really find nowadays. So I was very honored when she said yes to being my wife.
Did you think about the impact that it would have on us as people to see such a beautiful love story between an African American man and an African American woman? Because we don't see that on television every day.
No, for me more so, it was about the financial education that we need to have as a people. I feel like we are, just not black people, just everyone in general, is so focused on being a consumer. You know, we're not, our humanity is not what defines us. It's the color of the bottom of our shoes. And I think it's really important in this election, in this time, in this day and age with us, that we need to decide how much we're spending and who we're spending it with, and what exactly are they doing to help us.
Good point. What about young people? Final question, I promise. Young people, particularly young black boys who will see this film, what impact you hope they will get from seeing it?
That the answer no is not in your vocabulary. You might ask 100 people for an opportunity. 99 might say no, but if one say yes, you win. Never let anybody else be a blessing blocker on your dreams. Go get it, fight for it, and you'll appreciate it more when it happens.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Am I good right here? How you doing, bro? Pretty good. First question, we're sitting out here outside the Lorraine Motel. I don't know if you had ever visited, but how does it feel to be this close to where that historic day happened?
It's humbling. You know, I have a long history, like we all do, with Dr. King, and just the research that I've done, because I've played him in a play, I've played him in a movie. You know, as an actor, I have the great ability to be able to delve into characters and times that most people just gleam over. So to be here this close with this movie that kind of happened simultaneously or in the same, you know, period as what happened here at this hotel with the assassination, it's humbling.
And last question, I know this is on the eve of Super Tuesday. What issues are important to you in going into the next general election? Like, what would you like us as a society to make sure that we're legislating or fighting for our next president?
I think that's a 45-minute conversation.
I was trying to occupy you for an hour.
You cannot truncate that answer.
Okay.
I think we as a people need to take care of us as a people. That's what we need to do.
That's a good summary, bro.
That's a summation.